Hello and welcome back into this 12th video, part 1 of the HTML C++ Essential series. We're going to talk about conditions in this video. We're going to see what all conditions are there, and we're going to talk about specifically if condition in this video. Okay, so it's going to be very interesting. We have the contents like these. So what is an if statement? What is an if statement syntax, and how do an important note for that? And then we'll followed by an example. So HTML C++ supports the visual usual logic conditions from mathematics, which says less than, less than equal to, greater than symbol, greater than equal to, and equal to, double equal to as well, which compares both of these things, not equal to with an exclamation symbol. So all of these things are mathematical equations which are also transferred to C++, so which allows you to have an overall expanded domain over here. Okay, now what is an if condition? If you can use these conditions to perform different actions, C++ has followed condition statements which are used to specify if a block has to execute or not. Okay, so using if allows you to execute a particular block or not, depending on how you want to execute it. Okay, and you use else to specify if this is not implemented, then what next it should be implemented. And then you have if else if basically talks about if this and that are not followed upon, what exactly has to be followed upon. So when you have multiple conditions, you use else if. And then you have switch condition. So switch condition, although entirely different, but just to mentioning over here that switches are also used for as a block of system, so that you can select which one you want to apply. Okay, now we are going to look at a program. Okay, we are going to look at a program which is going to be very simple. Now this condition is the syntax would be that you have to follow if then condition, and then you have the block that you want to do, and then close the block. Now very simple ideation or very simple idea about this is that you are going to allow a condition to be checked upon by the if text syntax, and if that is there, or if that is like happening, the syntax itself is going to make that thing happen. If it's not happening, it's going to go out of the block. Okay, very simple, very easy. And there, that's more or less about that. Now let's talk about an important note. If is always in lower cases. Upper cases, if will generate an error. Make sure that you remember this thing, because it's a syntax. So syntaxes don't really change, and you should be aware about all of these things. And yeah, let's move on to an example. Okay, this example talks about if condition being used. Now what we have is if 20 is greater than 18, which is true, and if that is true, then it will say that cout 20 is greater than 18, and that's it. Now what you can do is, if this is not followed upon, if this is an error which is being generated, and 20 is definitely not bigger than 18, I mean 20 is definitely greater than 18, and in case 18 wants to grow somewhere over 20, you can compare these things, and you can store these values as well. And yeah, you can have multiple conditions going from one point to the other, and then you can solve upon all these things. Yeah, and we have more example over here where we are comparing the x and y value, and both of these values are compared and going to give you an output if this is bigger than or not. Okay, yeah, that is more about how you go about if condition. I hope you had understood this thing. Well, in the next one we're going to talk about else condition as well. Till then, happy learning everyone. I'll see you all in the next class. Peace.